Just went 6 to midnight.
Like a Viagra pill with a face. It's fucking photons.
Hey, some magic happened on there.
Well, I'm sure.
Wasn't by me, but
Magic's happened in this corner in general. The bed used to be open.
the bed
It
did
is.
used to be over here. Although, distance-wise, I mean, that's right near the end.
It's like right at the head of the bed. It's where.
No, foot of the bed. Head was that way.
Your head was down here watching fucking TV.
Yeah, but I don't sleeping like that, like a damn animal. My head's up near the headboard, which I didn't have one,
I was
but
gonna say you didn't even have one.
the wall was the headboard. And when it was a rocking,
That's. There's
because
anything,
I was playing Pearl Jam.
there's anything that describes a male bedroom. It's like the wall was the headboard. That's the sentence.
Could have been worse. Mattress could have been on the floor.
Or it could have been an air mattress.
Could have been there. No, I wouldn't do that to myself.
Could have been a futon.
Could have been a futon. I have done all of those things.
I know you have, but that's just poor life choices.
Usually. They led to more poor life choices, but it's not about me. Something else. We're about
Let
something.
me live my life.
I don't want your life.
All right, so the games this week.
Yes.
Who you get?
Philadelphia.
Philly. Well, I mean, what we got? We got Baltimore and Kansas City,
In Baltimore.
in Baltimore. Lamar's playing hot.
It's Patty Mahomes.
But Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in the playoffs, just something about it. They're all catching balls. No one's dropping passes anymore. Travis Kelce's playing like Travis Kelce used to. And that defense is still top notch. Now, Baltimore's no slouch of a defense either. I think we got 2 top 3 defenses going up against each other. And it's really about how do you plan for each one. I think Lamar is going to be tougher to plan for, especially since talks of Mark Andrews coming back. So that's another wrinkle in the old donut. But, and
Where the fuck that come from?
that's a plane.
That fucker came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it happened at my house too. But yeah, so for me,
French cruel?
comes down.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You only eat French cruller donuts. That's why
Yeah,
you
that's
have
it.
wrinkles in your donuts.
Yes. Whatever. Anywho, yeah, for me, it comes down to experience. Lamar doesn't have as much. Did he play a good game versus a rookie QB and a rookie coach? Sure. But when you're going up against a top tier defense and the best quarterback in the league right now and one of the best coaches in the league right now who have been there time and time again, 6 straight times, even if you are at home and even if you figure it out, I just feel like Kansas City's going to make their way to another Super Bowl.
As much as I would like to see the dream matchup here again as Eminem versus Taylor Swift, as far as fans in the audience go, I don't think that that's going to be the case. Nobody's playing better football than Baltimore right now, as far as both executing offensively and defensively. I don't see it being. I see it being 2 very good defensive teams going against each other, and a lot of big name quarterbacks going against each other. But one side will falter. It's hard to say that it's Andy Reid because he usually never does. But I feel like it's Baltimore this week.
Yeah, I gotta go Baltimore too. Though the Eminem and Taylor Swift, that'd be a pretty good halftime show.
Yeah.
I mean,
Usher's already taken it, so.
yeah.
Can we bump him? Can we bump him? Can we move him?
You want to bump Usher?
Bump Usher?
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta go Baltimore as well. Just that offense, like you said, Lamar Jackson's hard to plan for. Like most places or most people, they put somebody in that position during practice to give them an idea. Who do you put there to mock Lamar Jackson in practice?
Kadarius Toney.
He's busy. He's not doing a bunch of other things.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those where it's hard. Like we went through it in school. Like if the other team had one specific player, they tried to put somebody there to represent that person, but Lamar Jackson's one of those where it's like, guess what, guys? You're just gonna have to wing it this week. So, and I mean, both defenses are good, and I think it's gonna come down to which offense can perform the best against two top defenses. There is basically what this game's gonna be, and I think Lamar Jackson, because he can beat you with his arm and his legs right now, like he can pick and choose.
Well, in my eyes, it's like you gotta just do one thing, and you gotta keep him in the pocket. Let him beat you with his arm, because he doesn't do it too often.
But he can't.
He has the ability, but he gets frantic when he knows that he can't run the ball.
But we learned this week that, I mean, Josh Allen ran for 60 plus yards, and he's no Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
He also didn't win.
He also didn't win. So
But I'm saying,
so there we go. Keep that playing. No, in my eyes, and this comes from a Pittsburgh team that has played him years on years, and we have a winning record against him, and it's because we know how to play him. You got to make him beat you with your arm. You got to keep him in the pocket. You got to have a spy on him, and that front four has to rush him and hold him in. You got good guys like Chris Jones and a couple youngins that are able to do it, but they got to do it for a whole game. Is he going to get lucky and squeak out once or twice? Sure, you can live with that. But what you can't live with is letting him rush for 100 yards down the field, and then because you're so scared of the run, you rush everybody, and then he throws a 5-yard dump pass to a wide open tight end because you're worried about the run. If you stop the run early, keep him in the pocket, try to force him to throw, then it's going to be on those receivers to be making plays too. That's why he likes to run, because when the ball's in his hands, he's the best player. The whole point of the game is get the ball in your best player's hands. Well, if he's running for days, guess what? No other person can fuck it up. But if you got to force OBJ to make a play, which he most likely will, or Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, guys that haven't been in this position too often versus a better defense than the Texans, then it's going to be a little different. Then it's like we have to show up. We have to show out. And if they can't, then it's a lot tougher on Lamar. And then he starts to try to force plays. Then he force plays. Guess what? Turnovers. You win the turnover battle, you win the game more times than not. And you don't really got to worry about it from a kicking standpoint. They both got great kickers, so if you get in field goal range, most of the time it's going through. So I don't think I think special teams is kind of a wash. I think defenses are kind of a
wash. If it comes down to Baltimore playing the way they have been in these playoffs, or just even in the end of the season going into the playoffs, I mean, what they did to San Francisco, completely healthy San Francisco defense, was just nobody else had done that this year to him.
Yeah, I'm not saying
they just demolished it.
And I'm not saying he can't have that game. And if he has that game where he plays perfect, then yeah, they're going to win. But your job as a defensive coordinator is to make him not play perfect.
Well, I mean,
and you do that.
Easier said than done.
But you do that by making sure that he knows he can't run.
But this week, I think the addition to Dalvin Cook definitely helped. Even though he didn't get his touches until late, he showed some like prime Dalvin Cook in some of the
yeah, he's Dalvin Cook, and that's fine. But again, you're getting the ball out of your number one playmaker's hands. That's what they want. They want Lamar to touch that ball for as little time as possible. Whether that means he's catching it, waiting 4 seconds and throwing it, or handing it off. The more that ball stays in his hands, more than likely he's going to make a gigantic play that's going to, win them the game or put them in position to win. If it's me, you keep one spy on him. That front four has just got to be a menace. Sometimes you can rush 5 depending on the situational downs. But if you keep him in the pocket and you actually apply decent pressure and take his running ability away, he's going to get frazzled because now he knows he has to try to beat you with his arm. And 9 times out of 10, he can beat you with his legs very easily. It's more about 50-50 or less than that he beats you with his arm. I'd rather have those odds than the 9 out of 10. And I think Steve Spagnuolo has the genius wherewithal to figure it out. And is it going to be close? Sure. but I think Kansas City is going to win just because they have the experience. They have the best quarterback in the NFL. Don't care what anyone says, even those numbers weren't wow this year. And, they still got the best tight end in the NFL, even though his numbers weren't wow this year. And their secondary players are finally showing up. And Isaiah Pacheco's running out of his fucking shoes every time he gets the ball. I think that's going to be a big play, too. They'll control clock. The best way to have Lamar Jackson not get the ball is just run 8-minute drives, which I think they are capable of doing as well.
But I don't think Kansas City's played a defense like this yet.
Not too many teams have played defense.
Yeah,
like this
that's what I'm saying.
unless
But
play-
you compared when I said that Josh Allen just ran all over Kansas City. Yeah, they won that game because Buffalo's defense allowed Pacheco to just run right through them, and then Travis Kelce got the touchdowns basically. Because the run game basically is what held it up. I mean, Patrick Holmes had some okay.
wide open a few times.
Yeah, but it's like with Lamar Jackson, if you give him those chances to get the yards, he's going to get those. Like if you give him just a little bit of a window, he's going to get 10 yards. Whereas Josh Allen, you give him a little bit of window, he's going to pound you and try to get those 10 yards. Lamar Jackson's going to get those. Yeah, he's going to.
But again,
But their defense, was not that good.
I didn't say they were.
Baltimore's defense is far superior. And Kansas, that game was a good game in terms of how close it was. But we've seen both of those teams
But
play a lot better.
But let's be honest, it wouldn't have been as close, barring a couple of plays. McCall Hallman doesn't fumble. Guess what? They're up 2 touchdowns, and then it's just
You can say the
another
same
blowout.
thing. Stephon Diggs dropped 3 passes in the game.
But what I'm saying,
So you could say it went both ways. Both teams got some lucky plays that went their ways.
we gotta maybe he
And Nicole
catches it
Hardman's-
versus of hey, if you
Hardman's
just
didn't
fall
do
down,
anything.
guess what? Pacheco's gonna fall in the end zone next play.
Well, and Hardman's didn't. He got the turnover, but they stopped Buffalo. They didn't do anything. Kansas City got the ball right back.
But
cost you points.
it cost them 7.
Well, they went down and scored again. I'm pretty sure on that next after they stopped Buffalo because it was after that bad punt that went to the 50, and then they ended up because it was the best field position.
I
either
think
team
maybe
had-
they got a field goal.
No, I think that was the
can't even
first of
remember.
Travis Kelce's 2 touchdowns because both those touchdowns came late. Did they not? I think they both came in the second half.
Not that I'm aware.
Came in the middle.
Yeah, one came in the middle.
Did it? I know one
They
came
left it
kind of
wide
late.
open on the flank.
Well, basically, because the
Yeah,
whole
second one came late.
the whole deal was that because they ran that fake punt that with 8 minutes left from their own 25, and they were already down 7. So if they go down and get that touchdown, it's a 14-point lead with 6 minutes left. Pretty tough for Buffalo to do. I know Kansas City can score. In
I mean, and then
13
Josh
seconds.
Allen threw a ball in the dirt when he had Shakir wide open in the end zone.
But yeah, but see, that's my thing
People
though.
were trying to say that he got hit, and I'm like, I saw that replay 100 times. He never got touched until after the ball.
But my thing is, he
didn't feel confident enough to step into that.
he didn't. Yeah, he couldn't. He didn't step into it, but he had to make maybe a 30-yard throw. A couple plays before he chucked the ball 70 yards,
on one
and
foot.
it wasn't like
on the
he
1 yard.
and it wasn't like Allen was standing, and it wasn't like Allen was standing flat-footed. He had his body turned.
Yeah.
That's enough. I could sit there, not step into it, and maybe I could even throw 30 yards.
Yeah.
So I don't really get that excuse for him. But again, the whole point of this part is, yeah, Josh Allen ran for yards and us, but he still lost. And the reason he lost is because they knew how to play him, because they've done it before. Kansas City has played,
Well,
Baltimore.
you can say they know how to play Josh Allen. They didn't stop Josh Allen. He still did Josh Allen things.
That's fine.
Other people.
I'm not.
Buffalo,
I'm not
Yeah,
saying.
they didn't stop
I'm not
that.
saying that you have to.
The issue is if they let Lamar Jackson do what Josh Allen did, I don't think they're going to beat Baltimore because Baltimore's defense is better than Buffalo. So if Lamar Jackson has a similar game or even a slightly better game than Josh Allen had against Kansas City, Baltimore's defense will make up the slack that Buffalo did.
Yeah, that's fine, but
And he can
they're.
very easily on the ground have a better game than Josh Allen.
But that's what I'm saying, though. I'm saying if you stop his main thing of what he wants to do, which his main thing that he wants to do is tuck and run.
Well, that's what Josh Allen.
It's gonna
Josh
throw.
Allen likes to.
No, Josh Allen likes to throw. He uses his legs when he needs to, And he's not afraid to go get those yards like Lamar. But when you look at those two quarterbacks, your first thing when you think Josh Allen is he wants to throw the fucker. And when you look at Lamar, he wants to tuck and run. Regardless how he says he wants to be a pocket passer, we all know if you see enough space, your ass is rolling 9 times out of 10. With Josh, it's and then go. He'll try to extend a play longer to complete a pass before running. With Lamar, if first read's not there, and maybe if second read's not there, and he sees daylight, he's zipping and going. He wants to run first. Josh likes to run second. So yeah, you have to. They are two separate quarterbacks.
Well, they got some young defensive backs too, so that could come down and make up the difference for Kansas City because they're young. As soon as Lamar Jackson starts to roll out of the pocket,
They're young, but guess
they
what?
might bite.
They're young, but they've been there. Those young guys, they won a Super Bowl last year. So they have the experience. If they were first year, second year players who hadn't even stepped foot in the playoffs or
Did
maybe
they play Lamar Jackson last year? I don't think they did. So it's like just because they won a Super Bowl doesn't mean they know how to play it.
but they have the experience.
This doesn't help you when you're playing a quarterback you've never faced before.
But being in the moment does. Being in like saying, hey, this is an AFC championship, a lot of people get nerves, especially on the defensive side where, if you look at a receiver wrong, you're going to get a flag and stuff like that. And they have Pro Bowlers with like Trent McDuffie and Snead. So it's not exactly going to be easy.
Tranquil.
Yeah, and it's not exactly going to be easy for Lamar to throw either. So, but in my eyes, if you frazzle him enough to where his main option that he likes to do, which is run, is hindered, it's going to be more beneficial for you. And I think Steve Spagnuolo is going to do that, and that's going to be just the littlest edge. That's all Patrick Mahomes needs. He just needs one little tiny advantage because he's that good to win them the game, even if it is at Baltimore and not at Arrowhead Stadium. But like I said, we'll see how it goes. The next game,
Frazzled and wrinkled donuts aside,
yes,
it's gonna be a fun game to watch scheme wise, just from two very great coaches going against each other in Harbaugh and Andy Reid. But on to the next.
Yeah. Niners, Lions. The Niners are lucky to even be a part of it. They got lucky they were versing a kicker who's missed 14 kicks this year, and somehow they were putting it in his hands. I think it was good for them. They got the rust knocked off. It was what people were maybe expecting out of Baltimore, but Baltimore, they played true to fashion. Niners, they were on the other half of that, where it was more, rust than rest. And you could see it. Losing Debo early definitely didn't help. He's 50-50 for the game. So I know they're going to practice like he's going to play. But, and they're probably going to do whatever they can medical-wise. He's not going to, practice a down in pads. They'll shoot him up with cortisone or whatever to help the shoulder. And just do what they can to get... Yeah, they'll do whatever they can to get him out there. But again, he's also maybe one big hit away from being out again. So you kind of got to remember it that way.
That just means Ayuk's got to step up. Well, McLeod's got to step up.
Jennings.
Kittle's got
Kittle stepped up. Oh, Jennings is the
other guy. So, and Christian's got to have, even though he ran 2 touchdowns.
Christian's going to do what Christian does.
Yeah, but I think he does need to have a decent game. And luckily, I think the weather in San Francisco for Purdy is going to be more pristine. He's not going to be dealing with the rain and doing all that. And yeah, the 49ers defense is the 49ers defense. I don't want them to win because I don't want them to have a shot at 6 rings. And I like the Lions. I love the story. Dan Campbell, hell of a coach. He's a coach you definitely want to be around. He's progressed every year he's been in there. Finally got them their playoff victory. Got 2 of them. So, and like you said, 2 down, 2 to go.
And it was the first time they'd won the division in a while too, wasn't it?
30 years.
Yeah. So a lot of firsts.
But he's not going to be happy unless he wins that Super Bowl. And I think his team knows that. I think Goff, he wants to make up for his embarrassment of a Super Bowl that he had
against New England.
yeah, against New England all those years ago and proved the Rams wrong, even though they did win a Super Bowl without him. So,
Directly, right?
directly after him.
Got rid of him, then they won.
The Lions are playing with a lot of heart,
That team golf a good one.
but in my eyes, it really comes down to, and you know this because you had him in fantasy, which Jared Goff shows up.
Yeah.
Is it the guy that's going to throw for 404 touchdowns, or is it the guy that's going to throw for 175 and 3 interceptions?
Yeah.
So
St. Brown he's consistent. If Goff's playing a good game, then St. Brown's having a good game. You can't really. St. Brown doesn't. His off games are only because I can even say even he doesn't really have off games. Most of Goff's yards go to St. Brown. So I mean, man was
for me, you got the Lions who probably have top 3 O-line in the league. And San Francisco's front four, it's nice. It's solid. You got Bosa, Hargrave, a couple other people. Chase Young. But
they got to get Montgomery and Gibbs started early, and that will help.
If they can get the run going, control the clock.
Against Warner and Greenlaw.
That's the thing. But if you can take just enough, get a block up into the second
to pop. If
you get 3-4 yards a pop, then it's gonna be fine.
And it opens up.
Pick and choose your passing. And like I said, if the real Jared Goff shows up, I believe they have a chance because their defense is no slouch either. And like I said, if Debo's going to be 50, 75%, that's still good for you.
What's the linebacker's name? He's got that weird name.
Anzalone,
yeah. And signing Zach Ertz, I think, was a pretty good move for them.
Yeah, Brian Branch has been playing great too. So they have a defense that can do enough to stifle San Francisco's offense.
Mm-hmm.
But really it comes down to, can the Lions offense keep rolling? If they can keep rolling, I think their defense is good enough to stop San Francisco enough times to win them the game. So
I think they got to go back and watch some tape. I think in order to beat San Francisco, you got to contain Christian McCaffrey. It starts with him. If you start with him and you stop him all on the ground, and then San Francisco has to rely on the passing game solely, we've seen what happens. Because then their losing streak, that's pretty much what happened.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they also were out of their left tackle and Debo for those games too. But yeah, of course, you stop Christian, or you at least hinder him. There's no real stopping. But if you can minimize, if you can slow him down to where now Purdy has to try to win the game with his arm. And again, I understand they were at the NFC Championship last year and he played, but he was playing with one arm. So he doesn't really know exactly.
Not the good arm.
Yeah, and he just got shellacked. So it's like he was just kind of there. So
we're going to have to make our own dictionary for this episode.
Yeah, but
throwing out some words.
Exactly. But yeah, so it's really it's biased because I could easily go 49ers who are 6-point favorites. I'm going with the Lions. I love the underdog story, and I wouldn't mind seeing one in Detroit. Break the Bobby Lane curse and do all that. So I will go with Detroit.
If Detroit does go on to make this game, you sign Barry to a 1-day contract, and if you get the opportunity to win the Super Bowl, Barry's at least a part of it and gets a ring because he deserves one.
Same with Calvin Johnson.
That
man could still lace up.
Yeah.
I'm saying he pulls a Julio Jones. He's not out there all the time.
Gets one catch.
But you're in the end zone or you're in the red zone. Little fade.
Still have to worry about.
He's got the hops. I trust it.
I don't know if he can pass the drug test right now, though.
That's all right. You let him. You let him through.
Drug testing for you.
Yeah.
With the way that Purdy was able to play not a great game throughout 3 quarters and then put it together on a last drive to be able to drive him down the field and win last week.
Well, to be fair, Christian McCaffrey broke a 40-yard touchdown or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
And Jennings climbed the ladder. Yeah. And you grabbed one from his shoelaces.
It wasn't really Purdy.
It wasn't really Purdy. It was the ensemble cast.
Could have been significantly worse, having everybody step up around him.
Yeah.
I mean, in that team with the offense, it's there's a lot of people who can step
Yeah.
at it anytime.
It is, but which again, it's about if you put it more on Purdy's hands, more times than not, he doesn't do as well.
And you're gonna and if you're San Francisco, you're gonna have to weather the storm because you're gonna have a Detroit team that's hungry because it's a Dan Campbell coach team, and
And they've never been here before.
he's gonna have a lot of fire.
They're playing with house money.
Yeah.
They're playing with a
yeah.
who cares attitude.
Yeah, we got nothing to lose. We're
Yeah.
not supposed to be here.
Exactly.
Which is a dangerous team. That being said, I do see Debo playing because he doesn't have any structural damage in his shoulder. But he is one. I mean, he is one hit away from not being able to play. I mean, but that's most everybody on the field. They're all one hit from not being able to play.
You could just play a limited role though, and if they don't need him, they just
Even-
save him.
He could be decoyed, which I
Even
understand.
Decoy, I find him to be very valuable in that.
Yeah, because he's going to take a hat on the defense. An important person
Yeah,
on defense is
in
going
that
to
49ers offense. So I do see the 49ers taking it. I do see it being very, very close with it being in Santa Clara. Probably a decent weather game. But I do see San Francisco taking this.
I see San Francisco winning it, but I really want Detroit to win it. So I'm going to say Detroit just...
Yeah, America wants Detroit to win.
Is it possible Detroit can win? Of course. We've seen San Francisco play terrible football a couple times. It's very rare that it happens. And on this stage, it's probably not going to happen. But
Any given Sunday.
it's exactly any given Sunday. Like you said, Detroit's got that dog in them. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? That defense could absolutely shut down San Francisco.
Good.
And then their offense could just be fired because as of late, Goff's been getting more people involved than he has all season.
They're opening it up for everybody.
So-
Laporta actually being able to play.
I don't think
is
he's
big.
Yeah, I still couldn't believe that he was able to play. But them going to getting hurts because Laporta, I think they know he wasn't 100%. And I'm sure with them signing Ertz, something happened during the game that they didn't want to talk about with Laporta.
I think personally for me, the Ertz signing is just more
Experience. And
you have experience, and you know what? You got a name that when it comes out onto the field, someone's
Draw
got
attention.
to pay attention to him.
But he's not old either. People, he's been in the league for a couple of years, but he's still got some tread on those tires.
You got some
Yeah.
veteran savvy too when
Yeah.
you're getting in the red zone, be able to find a way to get isolated and get open.
Yeah,
He was on the Super Bowl Eagles team, right?
yeah.
So
He
he's
doesn't
good.
he doesn't have to catch 8 passes for 100 yards.
No.
But he can make
get a few
he can
first
make
downs.
1 or 2 impactful plays.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I see it as a good signing. Like I said, you got the experience of someone who's been in
Been
those big games in the locker room. And like I said, it's someone where if Laporta comes out because he's resting, Ertz is still in there.
So you're not losing much.
You still got to pay attention to that tight end position. You're not worried about the Brandon Wright kid or whatever.
Or
You know, so Zach Ertz is going to put more fear in you to say, hey, we got to keep this linebacker more in the middle to watch where he's coming from instead of shooting him in on a blitz.
could see some double tight end formations with him too.
I think you could do that too. That might open up the run more as well, or at least play action options. But like I said, if Detroit can get the run going early, and I'm not saying you got to get 8 yards a carry, you can get 4.5, eat away the clock, keep the ball out of that big play San Francisco hands, and
Just stay ahead of the sticks is what they need to do with the run game.
yeah.
10, 12 play drives.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10, 12 play drives, take 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes off.
Because that's
Do
something
it
San
every
Francisco
time.
is good for. San Francisco will put those long drives together.
Yeah.
And then they'll have their big chunk plays as well, but they consistently put those big drives together and they eat up clock.
And then, like you said, if you can get into the fourth quarter with the lead, more times than not, actually just once, Kyle Shanahan loses. And technically, I really wouldn't even give it to him because if they would have kicked the field goal, he only would have been down 4 in the fourth quarter. But because it timed out, he basically got that goose egg off his stat sheet. But yeah, most of the time when he's down a touchdown in the fourth, he doesn't come back and win it. So that's another stat to have on your side. So I think, don't get me wrong, Detroit has to play a perfect ball game, but they're capable of it, and
They can't turn the ball over.
they know how to do it. Yeah, that's why I said it comes down to Goff. I think the running back's going to do their part. It's can Goff make the throws that he needs to make? Can he make the smart throw and not turn the ball over? He's had games where he has been just picture perfect. He's also had games where it's like, why are you even out there? Which one's going to show up? That's going to decide the game for me.
I agree. I think it's gonna be good football this weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be real good football. Just chill,
I just
watch.
wish they were both. I wish it was Saturday night, Sunday night, not both on Sunday.
Sunday football. That's how people. That's what America wants.
Yeah, but there's nothing going on Saturday. It'd be nice if there was like 6 o'clock game to watch.
Sure.
Like this past week, it was nice having.
Well, you know what? You can just go to the movies and see The Beekeeper. Good film. My buddy's brother co-produced it, so get out there.
Did you
Box
watch
office.
it?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
It's a good movie.
I've been told.
I've heard it's a good.
I have to. I'm about to have a kid. You really got time to go to the movies?
This is the time you would
This
go.
is the time to go for sure. I'm gonna maybe see if I can go this weekend. I want to, but yeah. So
We're talking about movies. Have y'all seen that one on Amazon yet?
That doesn't narrow it.
yeah, it doesn't narrow it down at all.
Saltburn.
Saltburn. Yeah, have you seen that yet?
I was told I needed to see it. I have not.
What's that about?
Just watch it.
It's not something that you can plan for.
Fucking
It's
watch.
not something you can plan for, and it's kind of hard to tell you what it's about because I've seen it and I'm still.
Can you give me the premise?
No, not really.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard a handful of things, and
What's the genre?
Suspense.
It sure is.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's the best way to put it.
What the fuck?
Because even when you think the movie,
Genre.
just when you think the movie's over too, because I was watching the other day, it kept going and more shit started happening. I'm like, bro, this fucking movie ended like 10, 15 minutes ago.
And
What was the movie that was like
it's
that?
still going?
I can't remember. There was another movie we saw that was like that, where you're like, how is there still movie?
I remember watching, I don't remember which one it was. It was one of the Transformers, and I'm like, this movie's over. And then I'm like, nope, still 45 minutes left.
Oh yeah, that
We're in
was
theaters, and that was like that first. It was, I want to say it was Dark Side of the Moon, maybe.
number 3, right?
I believe so.
Did you go with me? Was that you?
Yeah, because me and you were there, and I'm
It was
like,
midnight.
yeah, it was late.
Midnight showing. Yeah, I got
'Cause
in
we ran
trouble.
into a few people there.
I got in trouble at work the next day.
Yeah, because I'm like, this movie should be over, and I'm like, just when you thought the movie was over, and then it goes to another scene, I'm like, this movie still that fucking.
That whole franchise will never end. They're still going.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah,
I
but
didn't see the new.
but once they lost LaBeouf, I was out of it.
Mark Wahlberg's was good.
Yeah,
You had to bring in Mark Wahlberg.
he's no Shia LaBeouf.
Make people go see it.
Hmm.
Gotta go see it because Wahlberg's in it.
Yeah, let's get the big name. But you know what? They need to bring Shia LaBeouf back.
There was no big name in this newest one.
John Cena's too.
John Cena was in Bumblebee.
He's in one, John, or was he? Did you really see him?
I don't know.
Yeah, was it John Cena?
It could have been the whole movie.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that was Haley Steinfeld was in Bumblebee.
Sure,
Maybe
she's in things.
she does stuff.
Yeah,
But still, the original one's Megan Fox. Shia LaBeouf. It's
yeah.
That's-
Hot
that's
Megan,
hot Megan.
hot
Fox.
Megan Fox.
Makes you made you want to go watch Jennifer's Body.
Fucking waste of a movie. Yeah, she's naked. You totally see her. Unfortunately, you're 100 feet up and she's underwater.
100 feet. You're like 100 yards away.
I was fucking pissed. I wanted my money back so hard. That and Paranormal Activity, something I could have shot in my fucking house.
They
And
did shoot it in there.
they did, but I'm saying I could have done it in my house. And
Nothing happens until the last.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. You're just watching people walk around. That's it. Ooh, a pot moved. Call the exorcist. Like, get the fuck out of here. And then finally, the last 10 minutes was worth it. It was annoying. I almost wanted to walk out. Almost as bad as, what was that? Blade Runner, that new Blade Runner.
I haven't seen it.
You don't need to.
You know, yeah.
I waited. I went there with Emily
Yeah, so
after softball.
I was gonna go with y'all, and I was like, nah.
Yeah, smart move. At first, I saw, and it's like 2 hours and 50 minutes long. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like an hour in. I'm like, where the fuck's Harrison Ford in this motherfucker? He's the big name. And it's just Ryan Gosling walking around the desert looking for a fucking robot. And I was just like, God, shoot me in the head. I walked out like an hour and a half in. I was like, no Harrison Ford. This movie's boring as shit. I'm tired. I'm done. This is the only movie I ever walked out of. And I still haven't watched it. It's like on a streaming service now. I don't even want to watch it in my own home. It's so bad. I just can't give it the satisfaction of me finishing the film. I'll never know what happens. I've never even read the synopsis.
Saltburn, that one, that's a
Who's in it? Can you at least give me that?
just the only person. Nope, don't even know her name. It's literally a bunch of people you.
Seriously, what the fuck is this film?
It's the dude, one of the main characters just hosted SNL.
Think I watch SNL? Like I
mean,
watch
figured
clips.
if anybody here watched it.
No, I watch
it.
clips, but I don't. No, they got too woke for me. So
Yeah, there's a couple scenes in that movie where I was like doing other stuff, but it was playing in the background, and I'm like, the fuck just happened? And I'm like, trust me, it's one of those where it's like, and it just gets worse as it goes. It gets extremely weird.
like Cody's prom night.
No, that
That wasn't weird. That
it
was
makes
just
Cody's prom
disappointing.
night look like he found the golden ticket in Willy Wonka, when we all know how your name went.
I mean that's still an okay scenario because those kids died in that movie. They got the golden ticket. They went to the factory, but they ended up dying. You see them walking out. That's because they legally couldn't kill them because they're children. But still, they died. Long story short. Spoiler alert.
The one just had an allergic reaction.
No, if you read the book, they died.
They all did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good book.
pretty much, I died on pretty much that same night. Prom night was awful.
I was never a fan of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
No, Tim Burton, I'm not a fan of his stuff.
A little wild.
It's out there for me. I just like you're taking someone that everyone loves and making it super fucking weird,
Yeah.
And then all you do is CGI and Oompa Loompa 1,000 times. Like, tell me you can't find 15 little people?
That's what they wait for.
That they're living for this moment.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing with the Snow Wife thing, and they hired 6 big people. It's like, come on, how many roles do you think we got?
Yeah, they're like,
Unless another Austin Powers comes out, which that's not happening.
what was it, Brad Williams? He was like pissed off, or not? Yeah, Brad Williams and somebody else with they were on.
Probably a lot. Who's the other one? Warwick.
Warwick Davis?
Yeah, Warwick Davis. He's probably upset that the little person that's in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, little bald one. He's in Corky Romano as well.
Yeah.
Don't know his name, but he's probably not too happy about it either.
Wee Man.
Yeah, Wee Man. I don't know if he would have made
Yeah, he
it,
would've.
but there's plenty of little people. You only need 7. It's not like you got to fill the whole thing. You only need 7.
Yeah.
So, well, that's our movie rant.
Yeah.
All right, take a break and we'll get back to it. We pulled down your pants, and now we're in there. But consensually, of course, because, crimes.
You know what I never understood? I never understood the push the panties to the side.
I've tried it. You know what? It gets in the way.
It gets in the way. You have enough time. Just take
Take them off. What are we doing
Yeah.
here?
You gotta get your rash. When
Are you in that much of a rush
Yeah.
that you can't take the 2 seconds to pull them off?
I mean, also, were you wearing a skirt or were you wearing pants? Because if you took the pants off and then,
I mean, you might as well continue the process.
I mean,
I can understand skirt. Maybe you're in a movie theater. Not a lot of time. You got to be cautious.
the guy that works the film won't say anything.
Yeah.
If there's nobody else in the theater, he really won't say anything. He'll just sit there and watch.
Well, I mean, he's been watching the same movie all day, so he gives it something else to watch.
yeah, he probably rubbed.
I mean, are there still dudes just chilling up there with today's technology? I feel like you just got to push a button.
There's one guy that just like roams back and forth.
That's what I'm saying. He's roaming. He ain't
But-
just chilling there.
But yeah, you watch 2 people going at it in the middle of warm bodies, and not saying that this was a very specific example, but
You're going to stay.
yeah.
How do you get that job, anyways? I don't think I've ever seen that listed ever. Like, movie projector guy.
They promote from internal, I believe. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like you got to learn a lot about the system just to even have a shot.
I
Yeah,
guess, Jerry.
press play. It's got to be at this specific time when this
Fucking-
light.
What, you think it's a
turns green.
DVD?
It's just a DVD.
Yeah, we got six discs.
Yeah.
This is the movie I paid for.
Went to see Venom. I'm just hearing the track of Little River Band. Like, this is not what I wanted. I mean, I'm not complaining, but this is not what I wanted. I came to see Venom.
Sorry, I forgot my phone was connected.
Nah, my bad.
Mm.
It's like, can we mix it in? Play
there's
during certain scenes? I mean, that'd be fun.
There's gonna be a couple guys in the stands. Hey, I know that clip. It's a good one.
Is this Lights by Journey?
Still upsetting. I had to look it up, and it's still upsetting.
It doesn't make sense, but I mean, hell, we still won because
Came
Guam is smaller than
Everything.
everything. 212 square miles. I was like, fuck. You blink, you miss it.
I went to the bathroom, looked it up, and I'm like, that was the first one I looked up, and I'm like, this isn't the smallest.
This isn't the smallest. We're
I saw
fucked.
212, and then I looked at Yellowstone, and I was like, this is definitely the biggest. And it wasn't the biggest by much, though.
Not by much. It was like 100
Yeah,
something
it was like
square
200
miles.
square miles.
It was something small,
The
yeah.
difference. And then I think it was Puerto Rico.
Rhode Island.
Or Rhode Island was like 1,200.
Yeah, 1200 something.
Yeah. I was like, well,
Still salty.
That's how it works, though.
Journey, stable, lights.
1978, maybe that's why.
I looked up 1978. I looked up the Billboard Top 100 in 1978. Lights was not on there. No.
Journey was just getting in.
Any other Journey song on there.
maybe it was the year after.
I looked up 77, 78, and 79.
He backlogged. He went through every single.
Covered all my
70s.
bases.
I covered all my tracks. Guess what wasn't on there? One iota.
Then I looked up top Journey songs. Was it in the top 5? No, it wasn't. Was it in the top 10? No, it wasn't. Was it in the top 15? No, it wasn't.
I mean,
Number 17.
there's one song, if someone says name a song by Journey, that every single person in the United States, at least, are gonna name.
You'd hope. It's gonna be Lights. That's the staple.
If someone says Lights, I'd slap it. I'd be like, no.
Ah. It is what it is. Hey, we got first, doesn't matter.
It's Team Trivia Myrtle Beach.
All right.
All right, well, nothing crazy this week.
Nothing crazy this week.
I'm talking about news-wise.
Oh, news-wise.
Nothing crazy, because there weren't any official hirings yet, just rumors.
Well, not Bo Callahan.
Oh, Callahan, draft day. He's falling in the draft.
I forget his first name, but
Fucking
Callahan.
so good in that fake draft. He got a real job.
Yeah, Callahan's the new, pretty much ink to paper.
He's not doing anything, just Yellowstone. He
Yeah.
can come coach a team.
Exactly, but the Callahan to Tennessee, so we'll have to get Josh on here so he can
Yeah.
explain that hiring to us. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I know Bill Belichick got a second visit from the Falcons. He finished it up. Same with Harbaugh. He finished up his second visit from the Falcons. He pretty much said goodbye to Michigan, passing the torch. Hidden message right there, pretty much saying, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah, and I think we can pretty much say I think Harbaugh is going to end up at the Chargers, if any. And
I believe his second interview was either today or it's tomorrow.
With
And so I mean, Atlanta's definitely doing their due diligence. They're bringing in the big names. I think Vrabel is also getting a look by the
I was gonna say, I
Chargers.
haven't seen that yet, but
But the reason why you haven't had a whole lot of hires yet is because there are still some names that can't go out and look yet. Ben Johnson from the Lions being the big one, and also, shockingly enough, they're Chiefs talking about Andy Reid maybe retiring if he wins this Super Bowl. Does he just say Dunzo and leave out on top like Jerome Bettis, or does he just lose and leave like Tiki Barber? Who knows. But yeah, so there's a lot of big names still out there that are, and I think that's why there hasn't been a big swoon of hiring process yet, because there's a few more big names that they want to try to poach, and you can't until you're out.
you think if Reed retires, think Belichick goes to Kansas City?
It's hard
They'll
to
bring somebody in cheaper.
I mean, they could give it to Matt Nagy if they wanted. He's back there. We all know how well he did the Bears.
Yeah.
And then Riverboat Ron,
DC.
DC for the Eagles, had to figure something out with how shitty they were playing in the end. So, I mean,
I was kind of shocked that he didn't get a head coach call from somebody, but
I think he's had his 2 stints, and it's like he did okay, but like you just said, there were bigger names out there, and the newer names were more intriguing in the sense of where they're more offense oriented.
Granted, the two teams that he had stints with were Panthers.
Took the Panthers to a Super Bowl.
He did.
Got an MVP quarterback, so I'm not saying
But that was
bad.
That was it. The next season, they were just.
Hey, all you need is one.
What do you need?
All you need is one. Yeah, Joe Namath. He's gonna ride that till he croaks. Knock on wood. But yeah, so like I said, most likely it's probably gonna be Harbaugh to Chargers. That makes the most sense. It's the best roster available. So pretty much they're the belle of the ball. They get to pick and choose who they want and then hire and know how they want to put their team direction. Belichick to the Falcons. I mean, it would make sense. Got to deal with you got a solid defense. He can wreck that up. The NFC South, wide open still, technically in my eyes. And I think it all depends on what they do with that 8th overall pick. Do you try to go grab a quarterback like Justin Fields, trade for him, build him up down there? He's a Georgia boy. Went to Georgia for like 20 minutes and then left and went to Ohio State. So it's possible. Vrabes, it's tough to see what happened with him. Some were saying Seattle, some were saying Dan Quinn kind of coached his way out of a head coaching job with that dismal performance in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I could see that going there. People are also saying Carolina, but I think Carolina's waiting for like Ben Johnson to become available and really see what he can do with Bryce Young. All depends on what old concussion Dan Morgan's going to want to do. Because that's who I want making decision, a dude who played 7 years and had 10 concussions. But we'll see. He's still young. He's vital. But
It was vital on the field.
You might need to check his vitals.
Yeah, I might need to check it. Hey, I think he made a Pro Bowl, but either way. Yeah, so right now,
Did he have that year? Like 3?
I remember his last year, I think he had like 3 concussions, and then he just basically said, I'm done. And
4.
he was a great middle linebacker. I
gotta be
liked
true
him.
false.
I liked him early Carolina, but
How many fingers am I holding up, Billy? It's got to be a true false.
Never true.
True?
Billy Bob, man's holding up some fingers.
True? It'll be fine, Coach.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we gotta wait till at least if I'll put you like this, if Baltimore and really it's all about if the Lions lose. If the Lions lose, then a lot of hires are gonna be coming through. Boom, 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 boom. But if the Lions,
those other 3 teams,
those other 3 teams aren't gonna be changing head coaches.
unless Reed retires, then
Reed would have to retire, or if by some, yeah, that's pretty much it. Because Shanahan, we all know he's going to stay, and Harbaugh has just been a staple there. So, yeah, I see that being the case. So, yeah, I think after next week, we're going to have a bigger picture and more news in regards to head coaching hires. But it's going to be exciting. Still some big names out there. But
yeah, and a big break before the Super Bowl, which will lead to probably most of the news that's going to happen for the head coaches to try to get him in office as soon as they can.
Yeah, because
no one wants.
Well, drafts, under 100 days away. Now it's time to really start figuring out who's going where, what the ideas are, maybe what the Bears are going to do with that number 1 overall. Are they going to draft Caleb Williams? Are they going to keep Justin Fields and run it back?
And trade or use it?
I personally,
I don't
for
think
me,
trade it, but
if you got the number one overall, I feel like you could at least trade to 3,
get some capital.
with New England. You can get some capital back, and then you know what? They can get their quarterback or whatever, and then you're going to be above Arizona, who wants Marvin Harrison bad. And what do? Take Marvin Harrison real quick.
Yeah, and then you have him and DJ Moore 1-2 combo.
Yeah, him, DJ Moore with Justin Fields. It's not a bad rap, but I mean, to be honest, the Bears are in a position I think no one's been in ever. Yeah, like you're sitting here, you have 2 picks in the top 10. You have a chance to draft a supposed generational quarterback, which they weren't saying that about Justin Fields. They said he was an athletic quarterback. He had potential. Well, he's been there, 3+ years, and the potential is kind of what it is, at least in that offense or whatever. So personally, if it's me, if I'm the Bears, I'm taking Caleb Williams. I'm resetting the QB clock because the Niners are a perfect example of if you don't got to pay the quarterback, guess what you get to do? Pay the other important pieces around you.
And
And
you look at Kansas City where they paid the quarterback and they can't pay anybody else.
they can, but they've drafted well enough, and also Mahomes has pulled the Brady and has made the cuts to where they're more signing bonus and this and that, which is what you got to do as well. If you got prima donna quarterbacks that are just like, give me the money, and then they're like, oh, we lost. It's like, well, no shit. You're throwing to third string receivers because we can't afford anybody. Because guess what? Other people want the money too.
Yeah, it's like that guy we just picked up last week. He was playing in Canada because we can't afford the guy that's playing next door.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, just in my eyes, if I'm the Bears, reset the clock with the supposed generational quarterback going to be the highest graded in a while. Then Trey, and then that with that ninth pick, you can grab him another receiver, because there's three receivers that are just near the top. You're not going to get Harrison, no way, but you get Odunze, Neighbors, one of those guys to pair along with him, and then you can trade Justin Fields, garner that number two, that second round draft pick. I don't think you're going to get a number one unless a team's just nuts, which we've seen it happen.
There was rumors of Atlanta or somebody at 8 or 7 or 8.
Well, that's if
Bumping up a couple spots and getting rid of Fields. And
well, that's my thing. If you believe Justin Fields is worth the 8th overall pick, then yeah, that's fine if you want to trade him for that. I think that's a little too much in my eyes.
Picks and throw in Justin Fields.
That's just a rumor out there, but if that rumor has truth to it, 30 minutes after the Super Bowl, I'm locking that in. I'm calling the league and be like, yeah, Justin Fields for the number 8 overall pick.
Yeah, personally, in my eyes, I think it's if you can get the second round pick from Atlanta, which is still nice. That's top 40.
Mm-hmm.
You can get yourself a nice defender in that second round, and you're right there. Right, you'll pretty much have back-to-back picks. Nothing wrong with that in the second round. You get a lot of second rounders coming out of it. Like I just said, they're in a great position. It's how do you want to play it and make sure you don't fuck it up. Because you got to realize Justin Fields has to get paid soon.
Yep. What year is he in? 3?
This was year 3, so this would be going into year 4. You got to pick up the option. You'll have him for 2 years to get to see if the experiment's going to work. But are you thinking in 2 years he's going to fix the problem, or in 2 years are you going to be are you going to be back are you going to be back with the number 1 overall pick with a generational quarterback as the best available? That's what you got to think. If you think in your eyes one of those two things are going to happen, then you stick with Justin Fields and you pay him. But if in your heart you believe that Caleb Williams is just even a tiny bit less than Justin Fields, you trade Justin Fields, try to recoup some picks, and then go ahead, draft Caleb Williams with that 9th pick, draft another receiver, and then go about your merry way. In my eyes, it makes the most sense. You reset the QB clock. You can spend more money on defense, on O-line, so Caleb ain't getting sacked 50 times, and then maybe figure out the running back position. Like I said, I liked Deontay Foreman there. He was definitely good there. I think you could live without Roschon Johnson or whoever the other guy was. I can't even remember. Or Khalil Herbert. I feel like you can probably push off of him, and if you go Roschon and Foreman, that's a pretty solid 1-2 punch, and you're saving money that end as well. I mean, we'll find out more once the combine comes and people are throwing the ball, catching the ball, and really solidifying positions. But, yeah, the Bears are in a spot that I don't think anyone's ever been in. And it's just about don't screw the pooch. Because if you do, a lot of people are going to get fired fairly soon.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends. It all depends on, and again, also it all depends on where coaches fall, because they're gonna want to be able to pick their next guy,
immediately,
their next guy, and be able to go with their next pick. I mean, if Atlanta does land Belichick, then I see Atlanta probably trading out because look back at most of New England's history, they hardly ever picked in the first round.
He never hits in the first round.
They
He
must
doesn't like
always-
first rounders.
They must always got rid of it and got out of it.
But you also got to think at 8, most of the time when you're trading up, you're either trading up for the QB spot, and really after the top 3, it's a big drop off to where there's no way you take him at 8, or you trade up for what you believe is to be a generational type player, like when they moved up 20 spots to go get Julio Jones all those years ago. There's no Julio Jones in this class. They're good receivers. They're probably Pro Bowl receivers, but
Marvin Harrison.
unless you believe Marvin Harrison's going to drop to you at 8, which he's not going to with Arizona sitting at 4, I just don't see it. If it's me for the Falcons, you got to figure out just how to trade to get Justin Fields, or your ass at 8 has to move up. Which you could trade the Bears. Like I said, you trade 8 to the Bears for 1. Throw your second rounder in there. Again, Bears will get back-to-back picks in 2 rounds, 8 and 9. I'm sure they would love that. Get themselves a tackle and a wide receiver. And then you're sitting there picking number 1 overall. Oh, generational quarterback, Caleb Williams. You get to reset the whole thing if you think you can do it. But at 8, it's not high enough of a pick to where I feel like you're going to get a guy that's going to make or break the team. So for me, you got to either trade to get a veteran and then use that pick on something, whether it's O-line, receiver to add with Drake London. I don't really see them going after a defender because no defender's really ranked that high right now. I know the Dallas Turner, some are saying he might go, but it's like, personally for me, the difference between, what you need and what looks the best, it's incomparable for them. So, like I said, for Atlanta, it's all about the moves you make. Now, also, is Bill Belichick going to be playing some GM in that role too? Does he get final roster say? That's something that him and, Arthur Smith, or Arthur Blank, sorry, Artie Smith, I forgot.
Jeez.
You get to watch from home.
You get to watch from Canada.
But Blank, but again, that also depends if Belichick comes in. But yeah, they're in an interesting spot too. I feel like they can make some moves because I feel like they are a quarterback and a coach that knows what he's doing away from at least winning that NFC South minimum. And it's just don't screw the fucking pooch. That's about all I can say for that.
People are known to do it.
Oh yeah. Draft breaks a lot of people.
It really does. Puts a lot of pressure. I mean, when you're in that situation that they're in, it's a lot of pressure on them.
There is, but I feel like it's not as much pressure to get it right. Like if they were in the top 3 with like Bears, Washington, and New England, if they were sitting at the number 2 pick, and you're like, oh, do we go with Drake May? Do we go with Jaden Daniels? That's what can make or break that type of situation, because then it's like, oh, do we take Mitch Trubisky or do we take Patrick Mahomes? We all know how that works out. Didn't work out good for anybody because guess what? No one's there anymore that was a part of that decision making. So that's why I think if Atlanta was higher up in the draft, then yeah, making sure you got it right is more vital. But for them, they have options. They can go grab Russ, and he can take a veteran minimum deal, play it out, and then they can draft some help around him.
Mr. Unlimited.
Yeah, they could trade for Justin Fields, see what his potential could be in a new system with different people around it. Kirk Cousins is still out there. I don't think he would want to go to Atlanta, but the options are there. Or like you said, you trade up to get into that rookie quarterback class. You can't wait. They'll be gone, and they'll be gone fast. And then you're stuck with guys like J.J. McCarthy and Penix. Fine players, but not number 8 overall fine. Now, if that's the route you wish to go, then you could probably grab someone like a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix in the second round with your 38th, 39th overall pick. Still not terrible, but again, who's he learning under? You know, that's the tough part. Then you got to bring in a vet, or do they keep Taylor Heineke, let him learn the ropes? But then you're losing another year of everything else that you got going on with Atlanta, whether it's Algier and Bijan being on rookie contracts. Same with Drake London. They eventually got to get paid. Same with Kyle Pitts. I think Pitts is due next year, or at least you got to pick up the option on him. So they're not in a big hurry because I think the NFC South is still going to be wide open because Bryce Young is and the Panthers are still them. New Orleans still doesn't have it. Yeah, New Orleans doesn't have it figured out yet with Derek Carr in there. And then the only one that's kind of okay is Tampa Bay, but Baker's a free agent. Are they going to bring him back, or are they going to try to figure out as well? From them, you're bringing him back.
Yeah, bring
Especially
him back and then maybe get a late quarterback or something.
yeah,
just
because
to see,
if
like-
Kyle Trask was the answer, guess what? He would have fucking won the job, but he
Yeah.
didn't. So pitch him, bring someone else in later on. But like I said, Baker's still young.
Yeah.
He's still very young. He could play for another 10 years if he wanted to. And if Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and all of them love him down there, that right now that's the team to beat. So that's who you have to make your roster better than is Tampa Bay. It's not that hard to do. For
Double divisions.
if you're
It's not that hard. Somebody wins.
if you're Atlanta, you are the best roster wise. You have the best roster in that division to compete with them, as long as you fix the quarterback spot.
That division is basically playing hot potato and who's going to win it.
Well, not with the Panthers. They're just kind of watching
Panthers
from the
are-
side.
Panthers are-
Yeah, they're double dutching, but they're on the side chilling. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, the draft. You know, everyone's saying it's basically the nifty 9 or the tumultuous 10. Basically, it's going to be all offense, whether it's tackles, wide receivers, quarterbacks. And basically looking at all the teams, they all need that. So yeah, I mean, if you're trying to make a pick in the bottom half, or I mean, in the bottom half of the top 10, if you feel like you're not going to go after QB, then fine, do what you got to do. Take a tackle, take a wide receiver. But if not, you got to make some moves to get up there because Washington's going to grab. You definitely know New England's taking one.
Yeah.
So number 1 is up for grabs, but are you willing to pay the price to get it?
Yeah, you can't go in if you know what you want. You can't go in pussyfooting around in the draft. You got to go get it ahead of time because you don't know how many people are going to be making phone calls before the draft even starts.
So for me, all the quarterback needy teams, it's really like how you say, do you feel Jaden Daniels and Drake May, are they that much lower than Caleb Williams? And also, do you want the hassle of Caleb Williams's camp and team spitting out all that crap?
Or his attitude in general.
Well, to be honest, you know what it's kind of playing out? It's kind of playing out like the Ball family. When Lonzo was in, and his dad was pretty much saying this, that, and third. And now Lonzo hadn't played in 2 years because of his knees, so he's pretty much just been crap. And then the middle son gets arrested in China for stealing. The only one that's even been okay has been LaMelo. So for me, that's exactly what they're doing. You're building up this hype. Well, guess what? If he don't produce, you're going to look like a dipshit.
You're going to be a meme for life.
Yeah, so for me, it's like, and this whole bullshit about he wants to own part of the team he's on, and it's like, dipshit, read the rule book. You can't even do that. So what are we talking about here? You want to pick and choose what market you go to. For me, I don't know why he doesn't like Chicago. It's a big market city. You have a decent amount of talent there.
Parky's going from California to Chicago.
I understand it's cold and whatever, but
He just left Oklahoma, though.
yeah, but in my eyes, it's like, and not to say anything on the NFC North,
More than Chicago.
but yeah, but for the NFC North, you're dealing with it like, yes, the Lions are the top tier. Packers are finding their way with Jordan Love. Vikings, they got the pieces if Kirk Cousins comes back and everyone stays healthy. So it's a healthy division to be a part of. So you're going to have competition.
competitive,
Yeah, it's going to be competitive. So it's like, do you want that, or are you wanting to take the easy route? Because if Atlanta trades up and grabs you, different ballgame. you're in the NFC South. Walk in the park if you don't screw up too bad. And you got a lot of pieces around you with Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. So it's possible, but he just has to learn to shut his mouth.
Yeah.
Or his dad shut his mouth. Either one, just be quiet.
And I think, like you said, if Belichick is the coach in Atlanta, that'll change. Like, if Williams does, like, if they end up making moves to go up and get him,
Yeah.
we know how Belichick is.
He doesn't
He
take
doesn't put up with that
he
shit.
doesn't take any shit.
And I think that'd be good for Caleb Williams, though,
Yeah.
in the long term. Because if you get a coach that's, like, if they hire somebody,
If they hire
fresh.
a players coach,
yeah, it's not going to
it's going to be a different ball game.
Yeah.
He's going to own that locker room and get away with whatever he wants, and then you're going to be sitting there twiddling thumbs in 2 years again.
You got to have a strong-headed coach.
You gotta, yeah,
like
you
a
got,
Vrabel, a Belichick, pretty much somebody from that tree.
yeah, someone that's been around that
Yeah, from the
knows what's
Belichick
up.
tree.
But like they said, also, Cliff Kingsbury, who was USC's OC, was interviewing at Chicago to be their OC. So it's maybe they're trying to do that, a little bit of a sweetener, like, yo, we got your guy. He'll run the offense the way you want it.
That offense that had you running for your life last year.
Well, that team was bad. I will say that. I'm not saying Chicago is the creme de la creme.
Bob the backup threw for what, 6 touchdowns?
Yeah, but regardless, I'm just saying Chicago's not creme de la creme, but you know what? They have the chance to fix it very easily with what they got going on.
They got some offensive weapons right now.
They got the offensive weapons, I'm telling you. At 9, you can take a tackle very easily. And then if you trade Justin Fields, you get that second round pick again, you're right there where you need to be. It's all viable, but it just all depends on how they want to run it. But they have the ability to make it worthwhile for him to say, okay, I'll go to Chicago. But it's all about what they want to do too. So with Matt Eberflus and them, we'll see. It's a different little deal with them. I thought personally they were going to make a coach change too, especially with all the names out there. But that was kind of the deal when Matt Eberflus got brought in. Justin Fields wasn't his guy. He didn't get drafted. And they just haven't meshed well. Has Justin Fields improved? Yes. But not really that much in the quarterback statistics. He's ran a lot. That's perfectly fine. But he's a quarterback. He's not a running back.
He's a great fantasy.
Some weeks he is, yes. So, yeah, for me, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited, though. We'll probably do some mock drafts coming up in some future episodes. Probably split it up,
By division or something, break up each team's needs.
I would probably say by the top 10.
Yeah.
Do it like that just to kind of figure it out who we think would get picked. We'll know more, like we said. We'll do more research.
Well, I figured we could do some segments where we bring in some people that we know that are fans and do certain divisions or certain.
Yeah, we'll have people on.
What they need.
It's going to be a lot. Yeah, we're going to have some guests on. We're excited about, other faces besides ours. Really going to bring Between the Downs to the forefront, hopefully.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say Between the Downs down. Between Downs down.
Between Downs. All right. Well, we'll take a break and get back
Then
to
we'll
it.
get into the championship games.
Yeah, the nitty gritty.
There's nothing.
It's 2.
2, I think.
Yeah, 2. That's exactly how that works. I hope this made you think.